And again for Phil Sann. Thanks for setting the bar real low. I meant what he said about me, not his act. Wow. You guys are brutal. I'm going to rearrange some furniture for a minute. I got to get the feng shui just right. It's important to be comfortable. Like at a public bathroom, you know. Try and get in the handicap cell, because it's like a big apartment. It's got the coat hook on the back. You can take your jacket off, kick your shoes off, really spread out. I hate public bathrooms. You ever get in a public bathroom and you sit down on the toilet seat and the toilet seat's still warm? Isn't that awful? It's insane. And then they got the toilet paper dispensers on the side with a serrated edge. Why do we need a serrated edge? Are we really that weak? I mean, you got guys in Reykjavik tearing phone books in half with their teeth, and we're over here sawing away at a piece of 2-ply with a serrated toilet dispenser. America's fallen pretty far. Well, I'm new to the area. I used to do stand-up down in New York, and I actually went to school for acting down in New York. And you get a lot of the same advice from people. You know, you got to be more marketable. It's a very, very competitive market. Become a triple threat. Learn to dance. Learn to sing. I was like, all right. So I did the acting thing. I picked up stand-up comedy. That's 2. And to round out the whole trifecta, I bought a crossbow, which I thought was a little more threatening than singing 16 bars. It's really helped out at dance calls, though. I've been told people have been starting to stand up and notice me, which is all right, because by that time I'm down the back window and down the alleyway. But I think things will really pick up this year. I stayed out on Long Island, and I'll tell you, it's a different world down there. Or as I came to know it, as the feral cat capital of the world. It was insane. There were packs of feral cats roaming the streets at night. It was like Pokemon. I mean, some days I couldn't get out of my house and walk 3 steps through the tall grass without a feral cat jumping out at me, the screen flashing and firing a fireball out of his ass. Burned through a lot of potions that way. I also wonder sometimes, I do a lot of wondering. I wondered, what did people used to do before the Heimlich maneuver was posted at every eatery in the world? If you were out to dinner with somebody and they started choking to death, did you just sit there politely and watch them asphyxiate? Like my grandparents, they always had the best way. You start choking, they just give you a slap on the back. Wedge it right down there in the brachial tube, give the coroner something to work for later on. And I came to the question, who was that one guy that was so bad at eating food that they had to name the Heimlich maneuver after him? Can you imagine going out to eat with this guy? Be like, whoa, whoa, slow down there, Heimlich. There's plenty of goulash for everybody. You remember what happened last time, don't you? People will tell you things too, and you got to call them on it, because a lot of people don't know what they're talking about. Like, for instance, they like to say prostitution is the world's oldest profession. I find that a little hard to believe. Follow me here. Prostitution is the exchange of sexual intercourse for money. Simple enough. And if it is the world's oldest profession, that means nobody else was working, so where did they get the money to pay the prostitutes? Did they just go pick it up? If that's the case, the prostitutes were just very stupid. Is it just me, or are sharks getting really out of control? I mean, do we need a whole new Shark Week every year? Or is it the same material like on Christmas? You watch the same claymation cartoons for the past 70 years. It's not like the sharks are down there swimming around coming up with new material for next year. And then think about it. We have President's Day. We have one day for every single human being who's ever led our country. We have Earth Day. One day for the entire planet, including every president to have led our country, and including sharks, and sharks need an additional week on top of that. We need to know when to say no. I love TV though. I used to watch a lot of To Catch a Predator. I don't know if you watch that show. Yes, clap for pedophiles, great. And I'd watch like a horror movie, it was crazy. But Chris Hansen was having some fun with it by the end. He'd like to come out with a pun, like he was Horatio Caine. He'd pop around the corner and be like, "No, I'll tickle your pickle though. Why don't you have a seat? I'm Horatio Caine, it's Dateline NBC." And the people I'd watch would get upset, like if it was their first time watching. They'd be like, "Oh my God, he's a doctor? Oh, it's terrible, he's a teacher. That means he's around children all day." I was like, well, yeah, it's probably his line of thought. I mean, he's a pervert, not a moron. You don't see a lot of gay OBGYNs, do you? Another question I often ask myself is, who was that brave man who first realized that parachutes need to have a secondary ripcord? And what was going through his mind when he found out? I like to think it went a little something like this. Huh. Well, now we know. Thank you. That concludes the stool portion of my set. Oh, boo. Back to TV. Advertisers are absolutely insane. For instance, whenever a company wants to illustrate how absorbent their product is, they always go to the old standby, the blue fluid. I don't know about you, but I'm not a Smurf. Nothing that comes out of my body is blue. And then toilet paper ads. They always have these elaborate rigs set up to show you how strong the toilet paper is, and they'll stretch out the toilet paper and they'll stack quarters on it, and they'll stretch it out and wet it and then drop ball bearings on it, or set it on a table, put a little weight on top of it, and then pull the whole thing across the table to see the trail that the toilet paper beads it leaves. Apparently I've been using the product wrong for a long time. Normally I just wad it up in a ball and drag it across my anus. Oh, that's a clinical term, anus. Take a biology class. Oh. Watch a Super Bowl. Anybody like football? Yeah. I don't really watch it normally. I just watch a Super Bowl, and my friends would get mad at me because they're like, "Oh, you don't follow football the rest of the season. Why should you get to watch a Super Bowl?" And I was like, the Super Bowl is to football what Christmas is to the Catholic Church. Jesus doesn't care what you're watching every other Sunday of the season. As long as you show up for that one game, you can still call yourself a fan. Because if you think about it, Jesus was like that friend you had in middle school, would invite you over his house every weekend, but you always had something better to do. But you damn sure you showed up at his birthday party, because he always had the best party. You were kind of afraid what his dad might do if you didn't. Oh, almost done here. Like I said before, I like TV, and I probably should have grouped all my TV jokes together for the sake of continuity, but anyway. I get angry watching TV, and that's where a lot of my stuff actually comes from, if you hadn't noticed. And if you're like me and watching TV becomes just a practice of punishment, I found a little trick that I'll share with you that might make it a little more enjoyable. So whenever something that comes on that I hate, like Jersey Shore or The View or some of that garbage, I watch TV, but I watch it from another room in my house, and then I watch it through the scope of a high-powered rifle. And it's just something about those crosshairs and that magnification that makes it that much more enjoyable to me. I'll leave you with this little thought. We used to call them A-shirts. Then we started beating our wives. And now it seems like, thanks to Hanes, we all have a social uniform for spouse abuse. And it made me wonder, why doesn't another line of clothing take this approach? Clearly, wife beaters have been a very popular thing. And then, what would you wear with your wife beater? What's tough enough to top that? Oh, I'm gonna go wear my wife beater, I'm gonna wear corduroy pants. That's not tough. You get in a fight, you're gonna get your ass kicked. So now, imagine a world where you could wear your wife beater, and then Throw on a pair of gay bashers. Lace up your baby stompers. You can have a whole nice hate crime ensemble. Well, thank you. You've been great. My name's Phil Sann. Yeah, you will shake my hand this time.
Oh boy, are we getting sick of me coming up every 5 minutes?